Alright, so today's video we're going to be comparing the 910, the 912, and the 915 together. So we're using our Palmer Grand Audition, and we're going to be controlling it, switching seamlessly with an iPad with the same songs that you've been listening to in the other videos. And we've got these as close to the same decibel output as possible. Of course, it's kind of unfair because whether you're C weighting or A weighting, you're comparing a 15 versus a 12 versus a 10. So we tried to go more keeping the hi-hat and high frequency the same volume, if that makes any sense. So we're going to be basically going back and forth between these three speakers. We're going to have in the bottom left corner or right corner, whatever we whatever we end up doing in post-editing, and let you guys just kind of see which one we have selected. And we will give you some different ideas at different angles, and we will listen to a few different songs. That way we can see what's happened. Alright, so Josh is going to be playing our first song here, and this just kind of lets you hear some extended low end and a little bit of information going on. So we'll take a listen between the speakers. Josh is going to fire another track that's going to let you just kind of hear some high frequency fidelity and a little bit of vocals in the background to see how these do with that. All right, so this is going to be a song that has a lot of information in it, and you guys have heard it in our other videos. So it's just got a lot of distorted guitar, a lot of distorted bass, sorry, I meant to say, and of course guitar is distorted. But just a lot of information going on, and Josh's going to fire it to where we can hear the difference in guitar tone and in kick drum and low frequency on the bass between these three. And this last track is going to be our friends the Wildwood Ruminators, and we are going to be playing one of their live recordings that we did from one of their shows, and we will take a listen and see what you guys think and then tell you our reviews.
Today I started loving you again. I'm right back where I've really always been. I got over you long enough to let my heart ache. Then today I started loving you again. What a fool I was to think I could get by with only these few million tears I've cried. And I should have known the worst was yet to come. And that crying time for me had just begun. 'Cause today I started loving you again. And I'm right back where I've really always been. I got over you long enough to let my heart amen. Today I started loving you again. It's you again. It's you again. Loving you again.
All right, so we got Josh and Tanner and myself, and we are going to be telling you our thoughts between the 910, 912, and 915. So as far as a crossover standpoint, they're all identical. They're all 1.8 kilohertz. They all have a 100 by 60 degree horn, which is extremely nice. I mentioned in one video, I really do wish it was something like a 100 by 45, but I definitely understand if you're trying to do a single speaker for a balcony why they would do that. They're all the same amp module. The only difference literally is a 10, a 12, and a 15-inch woofer. These are all ferrite for the woofers. They're not neodymium. So just kind of interesting how big of a sound difference you guys heard just from the DSP tuning that RCF does. But they all have their pros and cons, and I'll let the guys talk first, and I'll say what I think too. So what do you guys think?
What are your thoughts, Tanner?
I like them all, but 15 really packs a punch. 12 is really well rounded, and the 10, I really like them for monitors just because they're small and easy to put out there, but they still give a lot of energy.
I'm on the same page. 912 is probably realistically my favorite out of the three. 915 in here has too much low end response, but that's in here. We're really close up.
I agree. The 15's muddy. So I know why Josh likes a 912, because what does Josh play?
I play guitar.
An electric guitar. And so electric guitar on the 912, I will say if I wanted to hook up a guitar and go through like a Kemper or some sort of model amp, which we make fun of Kempers, they're actually pretty good.
Yep.
Line 6, whatever, and go directly into a speaker. Out of these three, I would definitely choose the 912, especially if you're going to palm mute and do stuff like in one of those songs we heard. But as far as a DJ, I would probably go with this 915. The 912 is just so cool, but I like the 10s. I still think the 910 on top of a sub for a PA application that we would be using it for, which would be a very small room, very clear, very easy, transparent for us to be able to get what we needed out of that 10, that the 12 kind of muddied up a little bit too. But if you're just doing something that's not going to have vocals and you're getting just a really beefy guitar, that 12 was pretty killer. So how about physical aspect of these cabinets?
The 910, like I said earlier, was surprisingly heavy with that center handle. It's kind of weird just how they've done the center handles, but the side handles make them great.
Yeah. The top handle is on the back, so it's a little bit weirder to grab.
It is. It's very weird.
But there is a cubby handle underneath, so
Yeah.
you can grab like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps to pole mount, but it's just weird for us. We have 20 of those, the 910s, so keeping them up on shelves, it's just been interesting. I usually use the side, or nope, there is no side handle on that. I've been
Kind
using
of
the
just kind
side
of to
handle on the
grab them from the
915s.
side almost.
That
It's
is
kinda
true.
weird. Yeah.
So, and it makes them feel like they're heavier than they are
Yeah.
because they're not much more
It's not-
than the 710.
It's not balanced the same way the 710 with the vertical handle was. It's a little different.
It is kind of crazy. So the emblems, all of them, they've kind of went on this 900 series to kind of a darker logo. It does still have some reflectivity. You can kind of see that on the where I'm standing with that 910. But they do look clean. I think they look much better than the 700 series. So Josh was back in the days of our original 7 series. The speakers didn't look the best. It was a very unique look, but they sounded
Unique is a
great.
good word.
So
Yeah,
we
it did sound
definitely
great.
went with those a lot just because they sounded so good. So these, though, they look much cleaner, much more sleek, much easier to use for a lot of things. I think the sound, the embrace inside of it definitely has stopped resonance. I never heard any of that 250 hertz just that comes off the back of them. So 100 hertz and 250 hertz usually resonates in the back of a composite speaker. And these sound as similar, I think, to a wooden speaker as you can get. So the 945 might be a little closer, but these are really close now that they have the same amp module and everything.
Yep.
So what else can you guys think of on these?
What are your thoughts?
There is no side mounting point on the 910,
Is true.
but they have them here on
Yeah,
the
they do have the
15 and 12.
M10s on the 912 and the 915. Yeah, I noticed that when we were making that video. I was like, oh, it's kind of interesting because the 910s would be something we'd install on certain applications, and I don't know if you really can, which is kind of crazy. But for the price, these things are pretty killer because we have a lot of the TT stuff. We have the TT22s, TT25 CXAs, the TT08s, and just TT everything, TTL6s. But for the price, these things are great. And we've had some really big artists in our area because we're in Muscle Shoals. So the music history is pretty crazy. And have they ever complained to you about monitors? You know, not really.
Not to me either.
Maybe
That
not.
I can think of.
And honestly, they don't even know that these are what they are compared to the really expensive ones that we have. So not trying to shoot off RCF getting to sell much of the TT series, but just saying that these do have their application, and for the budget, there's not really much out there. The covers, we definitely like the covers because you're able to put them in there and leave them in there if you
Leave
want
them
to,
in there.
which is really important on these composite speakers because they are going to get road rash very easily if you don't keep them in the covers. The grills are pretty thick, but I just don't know gauge wise. I mean, it's pretty thick, pretty stout. It just always scares me if somebody were to throw one of these on the grill here at this corner, if you're going to end up having some dents on it.
'Cause the corner
So,
kind of comes out and
yeah.
then goes there. I don't like to put any weight there if we can help it.
Yes, and as I mentioned on one of the other videos, I think it's on the 912, I am really sad that we were missing our foam inside of here. And basically that was just to help out with rain, but I know that they coat their speakers with Kevlar, I believe. And so they're pretty rain resistant anyway. And at a certain point, if it's pouring down rain too bad, you need to cover your speakers or get them out anyway. So very clean, hardware is great, weight isn't bad for what they are, and the efficiency is incredible. For them being a 2100 watt amplifier, you're able to run quite a few of these off one circuit without a problem at all. And monitor positioning, has that been a problem? Not really.
Not really. We kind of tucked the cover under it to give it a little bit higher raise, but it's really fine.
And we-
Stages we end up on a lot of times are not the
Shallow.
deepest.
Yes.
So we have to angle them up, and the covers really help with that, especially the stay-in covers.
Yeah, the covers have been great, and especially for the price of what the covers are, they're pretty nice. So we really recommend the 900 series. We have replaced all of our 700 series with the 900. 700 still has its place. I hope they don't get rid of it. I know they had talked about the 300 series. Some people had said they might disappear, which they're still here. So anything else? Pretty good.
Great cabinets.
Pretty good cabinets. So if you guys need anything, give us a call. You've probably been talking to either the three of us because we do most of the phone calls and videos and all that good stuff. So just give us a call, 256-275-4734. And if you guys need anything, just give us a call, give us an email. Please hit like and subscribe, and we will keep shooting you some footage.